Hi, I'm the Rick in Rick Turns, and today I'm going to be making this small ring post. This is for putting your ring on. Slip it right over the top. It keeps it safe and out of the way. You have to take it off temporarily to wash dishes, something like that. I call it a ring post. You can call it a ring holder. You can call it a ring stand. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you can call it a ring bearer. It makes a nice gift for weddings, anniversaries, occasions like that. So, let's get started. This ring post is going to be made out of scraps from other prior projects. And as such, it's a pretty nice little project to use up some of the old scraps. I've got a piece of walnut right here. It's about 2 inches on the side. And I've got a scrap of water oak left over from a prior project. You can see it's still got the mounting tenon on it. And I'll just be using those 2 pieces of wood. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to put a 1/4 inch diameter tenon about a 1/2 inch long on this end of the water oak. And on this end of the walnut, I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole about a 1/2 inch long. Then this one, the tenon that I cut is going to fit right into the hole and they'll be glued together. I have in the past tried just gluing these together end grain to end grain, and it really doesn't work very well. You don't get enough strength to handle the forces of the turning tools. I've also tried using metal pins in the same way that I would do the 1/4 inch tenon, and I found it wasn't all that great. It didn't hold the piece sturdily in place. It tended to whip around as the lathe was rotating. So I pretty much settled on doing the 1/4 inch tenon route. The length here is not critical. This piece is a little under 6 inches long, I believe. This piece is 1.5 inches to 2 inches. For the length, I'll probably cut this one down a good bit to maybe 1 inch, maybe less than that, and this one maybe 4 inches, something like that. The base of the post needs to be stable when it's sitting down. So you don't want it to be too narrow when it's sitting up, ready to have the ring dropped on it. So with this 2 inch piece, that's going to give me a good chunk down at the bottom. I wouldn't go real small with that. You probably don't have to go 2 inches. You could even put some weight in the bottom if you wanted to make it a little more stable. I think this is going to work out like this. Now, the only dimension that is really critical is the maximum diameter of the post, because the ring has to fit over it. Now, this is one of my wife's rings right here. And I'm just going to check the inside diameter there is 11/16, just under 3/4. Now, before I started shooting this article, I looked up ring sizes on the internet, and the smallest ring size, I believe, was about, well, it was just under 1/2 inch. So, when I turn the post on here, when I turn the teardrop shape that I'm going to turn here, the maximum diameter of this I'm going to make around 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit larger. Maximum diameter of this post, at least near the top, is going to be around 1/2 inch. And then I'll probably taper it and flare it out a little bit and so forth. The ring doesn't really have to slide all the way down the post. It can stop halfway up. Doesn't really matter too much. So my first few cuts are going to be on this piece. I'm going to turn this down around. I'm going to drill this hole. Then I'll put this on the lathe, and I will turn the tenon, the mounting tenon, down here. Then I'm going to glue the 2 together. So let's go over to the lathe and we'll start work. Okay, I'm here at the lathe now. This is the base piece mounted between centers. I'm going to rough it down to round, and then I'm going to cut a short tenon on one end to fit into my chuck. Let's see, I think this will be the bottom. There's really no reason to recommend one or the other. So I'm going to cut about a 3/8, maybe a 1/2 inch tenon. Not too much shorter than that, or narrower. Okay, this will be the base part. Probably cut it off down here or something, but I'm going to remove it right now. It'll go back in the chuck. Well, I've still got the drive center and live center on there. I'm going to put in this piece and turn a 1/4 inch tenon down here. All right, got this set to a 1/4 inch. This is a pretty small tenon. Makes them a little more difficult to cut sometimes. I've got a sizing template I made a while back. This is a 1/4 inch right here. So once I get down close, based on this, which is a little bit oversized, then I'll switch over to this for sizing it. Okay, my 1/4 inch hole. That's pretty good. A little bit snug. So I'm going to take a little bit more off up towards the base there. And call it that, because I want a snug fit, but if it's slightly too large, it's liable to split the work when I push it in. So, okay, I don't want to take it any more down. This piece right here needs to be either dead flat or maybe slightly curved up that way, because when you mount it on the top of the other work piece, you want it to go all the way down. You don't want to, if it were, say, curved out like this, you have a curve down that way, it wouldn't look good when it was stuck on there. So I want it to be perfectly flat if I can, and for that I'm going to use a skew chisel and just make a paring cut right in there. I've got my Nova G3 chuck on here. It's the tenon that I turned, and I'm just going to tighten that down. Now I'm going to start on this piece. I'm just going to square this up, because this will be the end where I'm going to glue in the top piece for the teardrop shape at the top. So I'm going to square this up, then I'm going to remove the tailstock and drill a hole, 1/4 inch hole. That's my lowest speed on this lathe. It's around 400 RPM. I turn the speed down just to reduce the amount of heat that's going to be generated. Yep, it's going to fit in there nicely. I'll put a little bit of pressure to get it to go all the way in, and then it'll be good. I'm just going to glue it up right here on the lathe and use a tailstock to apply clamping pressure. That'll work out fine. And I'm going to use standard woodworking glue for this. This is just yellow glue. So I just got a little craft stick here that I've chopped in half, small enough to get glue in there. Now I drilled that hole a little too deep, or rather a little deeper than the length of this, and that's so I won't bottom out. Also that the trapped glue in there will have room to get out of the way. And I'm just going to put that in there, push it in there, bring this up, and so I'm going to leave that just like that. 30 minutes and it's workable. 2 hours for a full set. The astute observer will have already noticed my piece of walnut has magically changed into a piece of river birch. While working on the walnut ring post, I had a severe technical video malfunction. I forgot to turn on the microphone, and so lost all of that footage. So I've got a new blank prepared. It's pretty much the same size, same diameter. This is water oak. This is now river birch. So at this point, it's all been glued up, of course. Glue is set very solid. So I'm going to start off, I'll leave a large bulb of wood down here. This will be the base. And then I'm going to remove quite a bit here. So I want to get this shaft, this upward shaft, to be down around a 1/2 inch maximum diameter. I've got these calipers set to just over a 1/2 inch, and so this is going to be my widest point here. I want to make this into a teardrop kind of a shape, so probably my widest point is going to be right about there. Got a little bit more to remove. Close enough for the moment, I think. This piece is, I think, a little too long, but I can go ahead and shape it now into that teardrop. All right, on this end, I don't want it to come to a sharp point, just as a safety issue. So I'm going to leave a little ball right here. Down on this end, you can see where I'm cutting. I'm trying to cut it down in there so it looks like the teardrop is actually nestled down inside of this piece. And I haven't quite got there yet. So right now this is still too large or too long for the bulbous piece down at the bottom. I'll be cutting it shorter here and of course in here. Okay, I need to bring that down just a little bit. The rest of it's good. Doesn't get up to around a half until we get right about there. So it's looking good. This river birch is really nice wood. The post is looking pretty good. So I need more attention up here, obviously. Alright, I am going to stop turning at this point and do some sanding. Not going to bother to show the sanding. It's the same boring sanding that I always do. I'll start out with about a 180 grit and go through 240 and 320 and 400 and 600 and 800. And then I'll come back and put on a friction polish. Sanding is all done. It's looking pretty good. Now down in this groove right here, I'm going to put in one burn line. Now I've got the lathe set at about 600. I'm going to speed it up to about 1900 or so for the burn line and the finishing. And this is a burn wire. And that's good. Don't even need to resand it. Time for the finish. This is a friction polish I'm putting on. It's shellac, alcohol to dilute the shellac, and boiled linseed oil. So I'm just going to get some on the paper towel here and wipe it on first. Make sure I can get it into all the little crevices there, which can sometimes be kind of hard. There we go. I want to make sure I definitely get that first coat all over everything. That's good. So now I'm going to turn the lathe on again. I'm still at 1900 and polish that first coat. I've been experimenting lately with putting on more than just the one or two coats of the friction polish to see if it makes a difference, to see if it creates a more depth of finish. So I'm going to put on a few more coats here. All right, that's two coats. It definitely looks better than the one coat. All right. This is number 6. That is looking really good. So I'm going to call that enough finish. Let's see, I'm going to start to part off with my normal parting tool, and then I'm going to finish it up with what I call my finishing parting tool, which is just a slightly narrow parting tool. It's got a sort of a diagonal grind there, so I can get a hopefully cleaner part off right at the point of rotation. And there it is. It looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little finish on the bottom just to seal that wood. And I think I'm going to call it done. Done.